for his great insights. Very valuable, especially for our startups. As you know me already, I love numbers. I have numbers from yesterday. I already mentioned yesterday, and that fits to the topic we have heard now, and also the panel we will hear now. We had 8,400 investments in startups in Europe 2021. In comparison, 7 years ago, 2015, we had just 1,850 investments. So that's a huge increase. And you can imagine in this increase that we get different and new forms of investments. As we have heard now, Media for Growth, for example. But we also have investments cross-border-wise, so in cooperation between different investors or capital providers of different kinds of investors. And what we will hear now, so from, as we have heard, an innovative investment type, Media for Growth, we will now hear trends in cross-border investments and how to cooperate between capital providers in Europe, between different kinds of investors and also different areas. I want to introduce our moderator, Daniel. He hosts the panel Investors Alliance EU. Yes, of course. Hey, Daniel.
Hello.
And you will host the panel Investors Alliance EU and give us an insight in new trends in cross-border investments with a broad presence of capital providers. So I give the stage to you. The spotlight is yours, and please invite your guest.
Super, thank you very much. And first, I would like to thank you, the amazing team of World Summit. I think they deserve a big round of applause for, promoting the innovation ecosystem throughout Europe. I mean, guys, you are doing a really amazing job. And I would like to invite on today's panel, it's about Investor Alliance in Europe, cross-border investment and new trends in investment. I will ask to come on the stage my first panelist, Thomas Kolaric. He's Chief Operation Officer of Banca Comercială Română, part of Erste Financial Group. Innovix BCR is part of this amazing project, and together we are supporting 4 years ago starting this innovation and startup ecosystem in Romania, and last year also scaled up in Central and Eastern Europe. So really great to be here. And he's also the moral author of Us Coming in Vienna at the headquarters of Erste, where the 10 startups in our cohort pitched yesterday in front of Erste representatives. So thank you very much for being here.
Pleasure.
Also, Virginia Vegas, born in Spain, but now from Norway. She's leading the VC Challenge program, part of the Startup Norway. Yeah. No. So talking about cross-border. And she came with us and want to strengthen actually the innovation and investment ecosystem in Central and Eastern Europe, and now expanding the Central and Eastern Europe up to the Nordics. Thank you, Virginia, for being here.
Thank you.
Super. And now going to Elemer Esther, Managing Partner of Impact Ventures, coming here. Also President of Venture Capital Association in Hungary. A DNA really impactful, and also really interesting story. He got AIF as an institutional LP and managed to incorporate in Budapest. So we have to learn from you how to do that. Super.
Hello everyone.
Hello everyone. And last but not least, we have Sonia Federovic, Head of Legal and GP at RockAX. But a lot of First VC fund in Romania that got the EUVECA accreditation, and also first mentor to enter into the Innovix BCR VC program. And now let me just tell you five things about Innovix BCR. Started in 2019 as a partnership with Banca Comercială Română, accelerating until now over 130 startups and scale-ups, many of them being on the international stages, pitching in Warsaw, in Wrocław, now in Vienna, but also in San Francisco and London. So from an innovation point of view, together with Becher, we've done an amazing thing to promote the talent in CE on their scale-up journey. So startups from CE sometimes need to face the dilemma: should they stay in Central and Eastern Europe, or should they go abroad, incorporate in another legislation, maybe to attract more advanced and access more advanced investment round. So from this point of view, starting with 2022, together with Becher, we also piloted the first accelerator for VC in Central and Eastern Europe. I think we deserve a round of applause also. And together with these great panelists today, we will talk about cross-border investments and how to strengthen the relationship between us. Before we begin, I would also like to do a statistic of you guys here in the audience to see how we can calibrate our panel today. So if you are a startup, please raise your hand just to see. Okay, so around 30, perfect. Who's an investor or VC? If we have one, okay. You're good, two, perfect. Corporate or business? Oh. Then we have also to do an acceleration for open innovation in corporation. That's a nice topic, yeah. Super, okay, so I will start yeah.
Geographics, let's do it.
And geographics, okay. Let's see, of course, Central and Eastern Europe. Okay, perfect. Austria? We have also Austria. Super, perfect, wonderful. Perfect. So I will start with my first panelist, with Thomas Kolarek. Now, don't be fooled. He has the white-blue shirt, but inside of him, he has a hoodie. Because, Thomas, you are one of the, let's say, most active supporter of the Innovix program within a bank. And sometimes we ask ourselves, what is a bank doing into the startup world? And what is a vice president doing so actively supporting startups and innovation in Romania. Also, have to say, Thomas is an Austrian and working all day to connect Romania with Austria. So, Thomas.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah, I'm a bit a man between worlds, yeah, between banking and technology, and between Vienna and Bucharest. And I think it's very interesting, yeah, because these differences are what makes a lot of things possible. So yeah, I myself 20 years ago, a bit more, was pitching for venture capital. So I was in your shoes. I know how it feels if you're in a startup, because I had my own startup and I exited after 10 years into corporate, and this is how I ended up here on the stage. So I really understand what the problems are when you are a small company and you face investors, which are a special breed, of course, or a big company, big companies are very difficult and very strange animals. And I've seen it from both sides. So that's one thing. So, and it's of course once you have been in the shoes of somebody who, you know, comes into an empty office and buys everything from IKEA and, you know, sit on boxes and then try to get your first customers, you never forget that, yeah? So this was an amazing flashback when I came to Becher and see, hey, there are guys who have been doing this for 120 companies over the last 2 years. And I said, huh, that's a lot, yeah? And that's really a lot, yeah? This means 60 companies per year in an incubation acceleration program, and we don't take equity as a bank, because this was my other question. So we're not taking equity. So why are we doing this? Yeah, you might ask. Yeah, it might sound a bit strange. So my personal answer is because I love startups. But the corporate answer is because we like innovation, and innovation is important for us as a big company. And how do you bring innovation in a big company? And there are many answers to that, and our answer is of course also Innovex. And Innovex is this accelerator that helps us, you know, to open up to new ideas. Innovex is mostly tech-driven, so I would say out of these 120 companies, maybe 90% were tech companies. So it's mostly on me. I'm the tech guy in the board. Mostly on me to kind of talk to my other board members and explain to them what we can do, what we cannot do. Yeah, sometimes, of course, a lot of things need to be explained in a fashion that people understand what tech is all about. Yeah, and so it makes sense for us. It makes sense actually for every big company. So the topic of corporate venture capital, corporate venture, whatever, ecosystems, I think is a very interesting one, not only for, yeah, and if we like, you know, BCR is a very traditional bank. It's the second biggest bank in the Romanian market. It has a huge legacy. And if you're from Romania, you know that BCR was not standing for a very innovative bank. And this is also something, so if we can do it, you can do it as well.
Super. And also first, starting this year, actually BCR opened the Innovix stage and ecosystem to their private banking clients. And in November, we'll have the first pitch of venture capital funds that have been through the Innovix VC accelerator that will pitch in front of them in order to get them as LPs on board. So congratulations also on that. I think it's a first. And also this, it's a good opportunity to pass to Virginia because we've seen this trend from bank clients towards this new asset class, investing in VCs. And I'm just wondering, it is a hype for investor, high net worth individuals to be in this area. You see any trends on getting them on board, VCs, and also what's the perspective of the Nordics towards the Central and Eastern Europe? It's easy to enter, we need to do more.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me here. Super excited, first time in Vienna and meeting also the Central and East Europe ecosystem. So even though I'm Spanish, I've been much of my career dedicated to building the Nordic investment ecosystem. And I'm fascinated about that, mainly because Scandinavia is one of the regions with more millionaires per capita. However, much of the money going to startups and innovation was public money, meaning that the problem was that the investors were not understanding venture as an asset class. So we decided to start the process of facilitating more investments and facilitating education on what venture was and the opportunities as a part of a bigger portfolio with other asset classes. And we did it through education programs for business angels, people doing their own, investing their own money, but also educations for funds, people that wanted to invest on behalf of others and also invest bigger, with bigger fund sizes. And we worked together with the main Norwegian bank at the time, DNB, and we also been working with the Finnish bank as well and other Nordic banks. The question for them is there as well. How can we educate our private banking clients on the topic of venture as an asset class? But the reality is that many of these banks are very conservative and very afraid of providing things that they don't understand themselves. So I think the education starts with teaching the banks, and in order to do that, we can access more of their members and private banking clients. And the perspectives on the Nordics and Central and East Europe is basically that the Nordics are really deep in themselves. Sometimes Norway doesn't talk to Finland, or Iceland to Sweden, for example, right? So we try to break those silos by working together as a Nordic region. We want to promote ourselves and brand ourselves. And we also want to build bridges to meet other regions and other ecosystems. So that's why we've started with Innovex, how we can get more Nordic funds and LPs into Central and East Europe, and hopefully the other way around too. Yeah.
I mean, this is for you guys, yeah? You know, because of you we are here, because of this amazing deal flow of startup and innovation. So, super, thank you very much. You talked about different countries, silos, and I will go to LMR Ezer and ask you, you are a really focused VC, you are into the impact zone, which I don't think it's the easiest, let's say, part in the VC where all the LPs are looking for, you know, money and profit, and not very much maybe on the impact. Maybe I don't know if this is because of the more restricted deal flow of impact, or what pushed you to go and do cross-border investments? Because you are based in Budapest and you already done some investment, like for example in Romania, in Bonap, together with RocaX. I would really like to, so she's from RocaX. Woo! To see actually how you've done, because here we are talking about, European policies, capital market union, and so on, trying to cross borders. But you are really the one who've come with a bottom-up approach and really done an investment cross-border. Why you've done this? How it is to cross-border invest right now in CE?
So thank you so much for the interesting question. First of all, I want to say thank you very much for the organizers as well, especially for the Wolves team and for everyone who let this event happen. So thank you so much. I'm Elemér Eszter, based in Budapest, as you mentioned, and yes, I'm a fund manager managing partner of Impact Ventures, which is a impact venture VC fund. Yeah. And just one sentence about our philosophical approach, impact investment thesis, that we believe that we are a clear and normal VC fund, hungry to make some multiples, okay? Hungry to invest in companies which can generate a real substantial financial value. And next to that, equally importantly, we are measuring, and our requirement is, if we invest in a company, that the company needs to measure the environmental or the social impact what he is providing. So that's an additional requirement, additional value what we are doing. So that's impact investing. Nothing to lose from the VC type of approach, but to add something to this. And go a bit forward. I don't want to steal the show, because actually this is our common success with RocaX, that we co-invested in Bonap, which is a great company, and I'm really proud on the team. However, we have a lot of to do with them, so we have to provide a lot of non-financial support to help them. So it's a normal VC story. But what drives us in the direction to co-investment? It's crystal clear. Previously, before the panel, we have a discussion that the co-investment is already a proof. It's already a validation of the quality of the company. It's a validation that this company is prepared to go abroad, to go outside of the country, and to make some international connections. This is all extremely important. The second one is that we are really seeing the company from different perspectives, with different skill set teams, with different philosophical background teams. So therefore, we really can evaluate the team and the company on a higher level. We have more arguments why to invest, and more arguments how, or more, and from the other hand, more vehicles or tools to help to the company. So the main motivation for us that we clearly believe that the cross-border co-investments can make us stronger, can make the company stronger, and on a higher level can make the region stronger. So that's our approach.
Super. So actually you've done a co-investment with RocaX. RocaX, as I'll tell you, is the first VC in Romania that got the EUVECA accreditation, meaning that formally now they have a European passport for marketing their funds. They already did cross-border investments, so from Romania abroad. Now you also have legally the possibility to market your fund, therefore attract LPs now from different European countries. Tell us a little bit more the experience from an emerging market in investment like a VC, and how you fit and how you see the entire CE region and plans for scaling up.
Firstly, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be in Wolf Summit and with you here in the panel. RocaX, I think we were the first VC to embrace change in Romania and apply for accreditation with the Financial Supervisory Authority. And yes, Euvica basically enables you to market your fund across the EU. We now have the possibility to attract LPs in our fund from across the European Union. In terms of, let's say, co-investment, and in Romania, the ecosystem is very young, and it's a very collaborative ecosystem. You see a lot of co-investment, a lot of business angels, and it's a lot of syndicates when in terms of investments, and we tend to do the same when we go and invest abroad. Half of our portfolio from like 30 companies are outside Romania, and we co-invested, I think in every investment we did co-invest with a VC, a local VC from that country. You gain expertise and more experience, which help the startup altogether, and it's a validation also of the product, like Elemer said, it's a validation of the product, and you help the startup to scale faster, much more resources, not necessarily in terms of capital, but from much more resources in terms of knowledge, networking, access to a different kind of funding, and next level VCs.
So basically it's also a pre-investment process, co-working in a pre-investment and also post-investment in order to help them scaling up. Super, perfect, really like that. And now coming back to you two guys on the right side of the panel. So we have Thomas here connecting the West with the East. He's done this from years ago. We have Virginia, there's now, he just approached Innovix 1 month ago with the really great desire to connect the North with the South of Europe and really integrate the innovation ecosystem and go further these maybe invisible barriers, borders that are between our countries. From a startups deal flow, how do you see Central and Eastern Europe, Romania? Is it enough? They create enough opportunities? And what is, let's say, the main unique value proposition that Romania, of course for all of you, and Central and Eastern Europe countries have to give to the world? Are they sexy enough for the international investment ecosystem?
I will start this. So, I think there is a lot of deal flow in Romania and the CE, really a lot of deal flow, but not enough funding to support the deal flow. This is the main problem. And Virginia was saying earlier that in the Nordics you have a lot of public money going and not enough private. So in the CE it's the other way around. You don't have enough public money and you have only private money. This is how we started, only with private money. And now we are going and taking it to the next step for the ecosystem to attract public money in the region, to help the region grow, because there is a lot of deal flow, and not only B2B SaaS, which is the majority of the investors, the fund managers look for B2B SaaS, but also to go towards impact, which is actually the future.
Fully support. I said it already. So when I came and I was asking, and how many of these 120 companies that you nurture, how many of them have venture capital? And you were saying, what? No, we don't have so much venture capital here. So, I mean, there is a lot of development possibility, I would say, from an investor side. And this is why we are now exploring what is possible. There is a lot of friends and family financing. Yeah. So early stage. So classic early stage. So for all of your corporates and for all of your venturers, it's early stage. And I think there is a lot of creativity in Romania. Let me say that as a non-Romanian, yeah. A lot of creativity, and there's a lot of tech talent, yeah, in this country. And I have my personal theory, and we discussed a bit about theories, why this is the case. So let me just tell you my theory. I think like many other companies, like many other countries, after the revolution, after the big change in Eastern Europe, a lot of money went into Eastern Europe, yeah, and a lot of tech money went into Eastern Europe. I think in Romania it was 30% of the GDP, 30% of the GDP at one time. And if you go and look into the tech space, you have a lot of investments from Google, from Amazon, from Deutsche Bank, actually from everybody, yeah. I mean, there was not one single big tech player who was not there. And they have created over the last 20, 30 years massive development centers. They call them delivery centers. And in fact, these delivery centers are some kind of training ground. So a lot of tech, so the universities produce a lot of tech talent. So for example, the productivity of the Romanian universities in producing tech people is twice as high compared to Germany and Austria. I checked this 2 or 3 times because I couldn't believe it. Yeah, so per capita, yeah, no, Romania is a big country, yeah, but per capita, more output of technical people. And then you have these huge delivery centers: 2,000 people Amazon, 3,000 FTEs Google, and then people come from these universities. They go to the delivery centers. They learn a lot. And I think this was the last 20 years. And I think now we have achieved, now there's a certain, a change in the spectrum, a change in time, a warp in time or something like this, where people understand that they can do it themselves. Yeah? And this is, I think, where, for example, we as an accelerator, incubator, play a very important role, because we can give people the self-confidence. Yeah? We can give them basics. Yeah? Like I said, we are not investing. We are more interested to develop a true Romanian startup culture, Romanian entrepreneurship, and a Romanian-driven society, yeah, and not a society, driven from the outside of Romania.
I think what I want to add, and I come from a very outsider perspective, and I don't know the details of the CEE or Romanian ecosystem, but what I know is that WePath made a global precedent and put Romania ecosystem on the map and made a lot of people care and think about how we should invest in the CEE region. I don't think the lack of entrepreneurship or lack of talent is the problem in Romania. The big problem I see in Europe in general is that I would bet that 90% of the VC funds in Europe invest either in their own country or in their own region. And it's not because they want to, it's because they have something called mandates. They have investors that invest in them and tell them that is where you should invest, and everything else you cannot. So if we want to see more capital that flows from different countries and different regions, we need to start working with the fund managers on how are they going to expand their mandate, why they should do it, and what is the process to have consistent and long-term strategies for regions like the CEE or even countries like Romania. And that is a big job ahead. Any thoughts, dear panelists?
Elmer, you are now at your third or fourth fund, more or less third one, I think.
So yes, we are raising Impact Ventures 3, but I think this is the right time. So I want to transfer a message, guys.
Please.
That we are talking right now about the real question. And we are doing something what really can generate impact. And I tell you why. The situation is, if you look around in the world, that actually China and the US are beating Europe right now. Okay, hey, Europeans, we are beaten. Okay, we were pushed down. And what we are doing right now here, and it's revolutionary, and you have to know that all of you are great. We are revolutionaries because we try to facilitate the European startup, and we see world and market. We try to this is a chicken egg issue, okay? What is before, the startup or the finance, finance or the startup? It's not a question. You need both. You need talented people and you need a lot of money, and you have to facilitate them to cooperate, and certainly cross-border cooperation in Europe, and not only in a region. Yes, go wider. We invested in Spain, we invested in Poland, we invested in Italy. Yes, let's do it. And this is the right time. Right now, we have to do something. And what we only can, this is our expert community. What we can add to the European success, that we facilitate the co-investments and we facilitate the cooperation between the startups and the VC, private equity and angel investors in Europe. So sorry for the passionate approach. Just I always sitting in a panel discussion, okay, let's talk about startups and yeah, cross-border investment. What is the message? The message is, guys, there's a moment. Right now, there is a moment. And we can add something. Really, all of you and all of us and everybody else in the European VC and private equity and angel community and startups, we can add something.
Yes.
Woo!
This is the revolution. I was about to say that the revolution should be loud, and this is what we expect.
It's not for me, it's for us. It's for our community. We can add something.
Like Elemer
Please.
said, really hard to follow up. So the time is now, actually, and it's a process educating also fund managers, not only institutionals, not only startups, not only investors, private investors, to do more for the ecosystem, not just okay, I have an investment thesis, I will invest, I need the return, I need a success fee, and I'll go in, I don't know, abroad in vacation. You need to do more for the ecosystem. You need to be present. You need to come to panels. You need to co-invest. Like Elemer, you really need to co-invest and expand your expertise and your knowledge and improve overall the ecosystem. Like, we learned in RockX, we learned so much co-investing and sitting in boards with other investors and see the other approach, get to know another market, and this is all for your portfolio at the end of the day and for your pipeline. To see, okay, where should I push these people to go? In what market? What are the barriers in other markets? If you stay only in your country, only in your region, you don't get to have the right and proper expertise to help your portfolio.
That's for sure.
And I want to add on that there's a lot of work to do when it comes to educating the fund managers. But it's even more hard work and more effort that we need to put on the limited partners, because the EU VECA, the opportunity for you to market your fund outside your region or your ambition to be a European fund is worth nothing if the LPs that are outside your country don't understand why they should invest outside their country. So that's an enormous big problem. In Europe, Norwegian LPs would invest in Norway, German LPs would invest in Germany, and it goes like that. So we need to follow VC education with LP education and hopefully bring these networks together to see more funds in Europe that invest European.
And of course have these success stories that really can showcase, some, I don't know, maybe early stage investment of some lucky family office from Czech Republic, from Austria that maybe spotted through their VCs the UiPath or another great opportunity from CE. And I think this also acts as a catalyst to involve more and more LPs in this education. And talking about education, Elemer said very, very well, we are behind US, we are behind China. I think as a whole, Europe needs to be more aware about the tech opportunities that happens in Europe and be maybe more invested into supporting the local ecosystem. And this might be done through education program like is the Innovix BCR VC Bootcamp, and thank you guys for being here. Impact Venture, for example, Elemer's colleagues are in the VC bootcamp mentoring funds to to develop that investment thesis, and also Elemer, I understand, has now a mandate to mentor other VC funds on getting and scale up by getting access to European investment funds money, which is, I would say, a mandatory step in Europe in order to scale up. as a cross-border and support more and more VCs. So yeah, I mean, Elmer, you really say it. You need to do. We need to act, and this is actually a task for everyone here in the room, from startups to investors to LPs to banks, creating more awareness and actually have the entire value chain creating these really great success stories in order for all of us to strive.
And you need to do it. It's not like you said. You need to do it. And you brought 10 Romanian startups here to Vienna to this event to Erste Group. And they, of course, I mean, you know how big companies react when they see, yeah, this is a nice event, yeah, and we will listen to that, and then they will clap our hands, you know. So it's not easy. This is what I'm saying. It's not easy. It takes persistence. Yeah, we need to do it again and again and again, and we need to understand that from top managements in funds, but also in corporates. Yeah, and that's also something where education needs to be understood. And I mean, venture capital, like you said, in Europe, for Europe, venture capital is a relatively new thing. Yeah, it's maybe like in Western Europe, 20 years. I mean, maybe you're the first generation who like
much
really pitch it. For us, it was something new. Yeah, so we're talking about the new thing of the new thing. Yeah. So we need a lot of nurturing, and let's not underestimate that. Yeah. Let's not underestimate it. We need to put a lot of energy, and then not wait until something happens, and then nothing is happening, and then we say, it's Europe. Yeah.
I have a question for Thomas, if the time allows. But I think much of the topics that we've discussed boils down to work with more of fund managers, but also with limited partners. And simply put, these limited partners live in banks and private banking departments. What do you recommend banks, any bank, to do to support the ecosystem in this topic?
Yes, I forgot to tell you the story. We did something, and you mentioned it actually. So we presented our VCs to selected private banking customers. And now we could start actually a whole new discussion about how well prepared are these private banking customers, because of course not all of them are. Yeah. So also again, what do we need? We need to explain it to them. We need to educate. We need to push. We need to be persistent. And so, what's your view? Is in your environment, do you see family offices going into venture capital?
The Nordics is the same as any other LP ecosystem. We don't understand why LPs invest and their decision-making process. It's opportunistically, it's unknown. So I think the first job to do here is research, understand the family offices environment in Europe, how they perceive venture, when they would invest. And secondly is to start with education programs where we talk about European venture as an asset class, and then where we can go down into the Romanian venture or Nordic venture to be more concrete and focused to get the results that we want.
Elmer, I will give you the last word of this panel. So what are your thoughts about next steps in order to improve things?
Since I made this emotional message transmission, and sorry for that, everyone. But really, I was touched with the idea that this is the right time. But as a next step, yes, we have to figure out how can we put together our power. How can we start to discuss, and I'm really, really, really grateful to the organizer for Innovex and for Volves as well, because this, I think this is a moment for us. So we have to start to talk. We have to start to discuss, to learn about each other's parallel efforts, and let's concentrate our power.
So this is a time, please, Sonia.
It's a key to get to know what others are doing. You don't have to invent the wheel. Maybe somebody else already has the key, and you can learn from it and just develop together.
Exactly, and this is also the time to see the other panelists, how they want to improve the innovation ecosystem. And thank you very much all for being here, and a big round of applause. Thank you very much.